to put that forearm in the back. I'm sure Michael would try to avoid that as much as possible.
During the regular season, the Bulls took 3 of 4. That one Knick win in New York, March 10th. Jeff Van Gundy's second game as head coach, and they dealt the Bulls their worst defeat of the season, 104-72. But the Bulls came back and won handily here in Chicago. Charles Oakley able to sweep his way through. Charles Oakley making his return in the series against Cleveland after missing the last 6 games with an eye injury, and he has been a big factor. Rodman, Longley, Hopper, and Jordan for 3. The Bulls with a 3-2 lead.
Well, Michael looked sharp on that, not just because the ball went in the basket, but he had his legs under him, went up strong with the shot.
And right at the start, you can see the Bulls are looking to trap. They know the Knicks are vulnerable. Now Mason picking up Jordan, but he fires again. Michael Jordan has opened up by hitting his first 2, a 3-pointer, and then a jumper from some 15 feet away.
And on the first 2 Knick possessions, we saw them driving the ball to the basket. Part of the game plan, they want to break the Bulls' defense down that way, despite that long shot by John Starks.
And here's Jordan again. Knocked out of bounds by Rodman.
Well, Anthony Mason will have his problems on the perimeter against Michael Jordan. He's got to give ground. Actually, Mason got hung up on the screen as Michael got a terrific look. And once again, Mason having to give ground, respecting the drive of Michael Jordan. Michael raises up and nails it.
Harper hits the 3. So that ties the game at 5. We mentioned a moment ago the Knicks' success from 3-point territory in the series against the Cavaliers. Rodman stripped. He was looking for a foul. Mason, met by Jordan, decided to pull it back. Mason now played by Longley. Nice inside move by Anthony Mason.
So far, the Knicks looking very confident at both ends of the floor, even though they've given up the 2 jump shots to Jordan. They'd rather see that in the offense.
Longley, who Phil Jackson says will play most of the way against Patrick Ewing. The shuttle system has ended. And Longley has had some good games against Ewing. Along the lines of what Bill Cartwright did in previous years, he's able to push him off the blocks. Harper for 3. Well, both clubs have come out shooting, no hesitation at all here in the opening minutes. The game is tied at 7.
A big key for the Knicks is rebounding. The Bulls, one of the best rebounding teams in the league. The Knicks, the worst offensive rebounding team. To stay in this game, they got to control the ball.
Longley with the rejection of Harper. And here's Ron Harper at the other end. Put home by Pippen.
And that's also the Knicks' biggest fear, that after a missed shot, after a turnover, the Bulls, the best team in basketball as far as converting to the other end. Just poor transition defense, that time by New York.
Bulls by 2. Oakley got the step. Off the steal, Pippen has Jordan. Pippen for 3. Pippen on the rebound. Harper. Chicago with an 11-7 lead. And you can see Jordan and Pippen up at center court, threatening the trap on Harper. Soft pressure that time. Ewing. Now Pippen using the open floor and then lost it.
Ron Harper getting into the lane, but terrific follow-up by Scottie Pippen as nobody got a body. And then the transition play, or not the transition play, but Harper getting it back after the transition play failed and getting a second shot opportunity because the Knicks didn't return to defense.
Offensive foul. Anthony Mason called on that foul.
Well, Patrick Ewing on the outside as Mason trying to set the screen down, and this is the way the Knicks normally like to set those picks, very physically. Good job of Dennis Rodman taking that pop.
6-0 run by the Bulls. Jordan for three. Rebounded by Pippen. The last 4 minutes, these two clubs combined for 17 shots. They're just popping from all angles. And a loose ball foul being indicated. Joe Crawford with the call. It is on Rodman.
Speaking of popping, Dennis Rodman can't believe it as Charles Oakley trying to keep a body on Rodman, and you got to get him early. He did. Got the elbow up into the neck and throat area of Dennis Rodman. It looked like Oakley threw Rodman down, but the call went against Rodman.
Harper setting up Ewing from way out. Patrick Ewing over Longley for his first field goal, and the Bulls lead 11-9. Pippen lost it. Rodman. Jordan shooting. Chicago 13 and New York 9. Jordan 3 of 5, 7 points. And the Knicks going to the transition game, something that you do not see too often. Trying to break down court in this first quarter on a number of occasions against the Bulls. Foul was called on Jordan. Timeout is taken, 6:43 remaining. In the first, it's the Bulls 13, the Knicks 9. And Chicago out-rebounding New York here at the start. 9-1. 3 offensive rebounds for Scottie Pippen. Bulls by 4. 6.5 remaining in this first quarter. John Starks coming up short. And it will be Chicago ball.
And Scottie Pippen is going to have that advantage, not so much always in a post-up position, but with the height advantage for offensive rebounding against the smaller Derek Harper.
Longley. Rodman got to the loose ball, and a foul is called. It's on Oakley, his first.
So Michael Jordan's little chat with the official right before that timeout, letting him know to keep an eye on Oakley and his tactics in trying to keep Dennis Rodman off the boards, and he bought the call.
Here's Jordan to the fadeaway. And that could be a good sign in terms of that lower back injury. Michael Jordan with a baseline fadeaway to give the Bulls a 15-9 lead. Ewing, yes. Bulls 15, the Knicks 11. Second field goal for Patrick Ewing.
And the Knicks have come out of that timeout making a defensive switch. Derek Harper now playing Michael Jordan. Mason on Pippen.
Foul on Harper, called for the hack. We will see different looks right throughout the game against Michael Jordan.
And the Bulls read it very quickly, send Michael down to the low post. He takes the fadeaway shot over Derek Harper. And Patrick Ewing, who so far in this ballgame has felt very comfortable on the perimeter, has not yet taken his time, face up on Luke Longley, and try to drive the ball to the basket. And again, the Bulls are not all that concerned with Patrick taking jump shot after jump shot. They don't want him inside. They don't want him to drive to the basket because they don't want to see Luke Longley pick up fouls.
Jeff Van Gundy, who took over from Don Nelson, going against one-time Knick Phil Jackson. Jeff Van Gundy says he's constantly being asked about the age factor concerning the Knicks. But in this series, he points out the Knicks will be the second oldest team on the floor. Ewing rejected by Longley, and Oakley able to convert. Jeff Van Gundy kiddingly said, hey, if the Bulls were just a bit younger, they would have won 74 games this season. Bulls 17, Knicks 13. And Jordan extends to a 6-point lead. Michael Jordan off to a fast start. He has 13 of the Bulls, 19 points. Ewing the dribble. Clearly beat Longley, but not able to convert.
That's the first time he tried to take it off the dribble, and the crowd reacted thinking that Patrick Ewing walked with the ball. That's what Phil Jackson has been selling for the last 3 days, that he walks on that move all the time.
Nice pass from Longley. So Jordan with 15, and the Bulls lead 21-13.
Well, the matchup with Mason and Jordan, not so good for Jeff Van Gundy and the Knicks, and now the matchup Harper on Jordan is worse.
Mason guarded by Rodman. Mason is inside, and a loose ball foul against the Bulls.
Michael Jordan with the post-up position, easily able to get up and raise up over Derek Harper, as Michael trying to wipe his hands off or check and see how his back's feeling. If it's hurting, I'm sure it doesn't hurt too much, with 15 points already in this first quarter. Feed from Longley.
Foul on Rodman, his second, and Ewing is able to hit on his third field goal. So the Bulls lead 21-15. 4 minutes remaining, first quarter. Oh, Jordan had the step, but he got it again, and then came up short.
And furious as he threw his fist in the air, barking at referee Joe Crawford.
Ewing. Rodman with the rebound. That's 4 rebounds for Dennis Rodman. Chicago with the ball. They lead by 6. 3.5 remaining in the first quarter. Rodman. Longley keeps it alive. Well, Ewing altered that shot. Patrick Ewing very active in the series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Patrick Ewing averaged 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 block shots in the 3 games in the opening round set against the Cavs. Pippen for 3. And Harper gets to it. 7th offensive rebound by the Bulls. The Knicks with only 1. Here's Longley. Luke Longley very active in this first quarter. That's his second bucket. Bulls lead by 8 points.
Well, it's one thing to get those offensive rebounds, second opportunities. It's another thing to convert, and that really demoralizes the other team.
The Knicks call for time. Michael Jordan continuing the discussion with Joe Crawford, unhappy about what he felt should have been a call a moment ago.
Well, Michael has been aggressive offensively from the get-go. Had Harper beaten twice, and then a third time. Charges into Patrick Ewing. A good non-call there. I thought played too far underneath the basket, but Jordan barks at Crawford. And here's another look at it. Lots of contact. Too far under the hoop.
Matt Gukas, Dan Hicks from the United Center, Michael Jordan, bad back and all. With 15 of the 23 Chicago points, he's matched the Knicks total. And the Bulls doing it off the boards. They have out-rebounded the Knicks here at the start. 15-4.
And that was Jeff Van Gundy's biggest warning to his team. Had to get out of the matchup with Derek Harper on Pippen. Scottie Pippen with already 3 offensive rebounds.
Oakley came off the pick. Starks able to save it. And the Knicks will have possession with 2 on the shot clock. There was a rush shot by Charles Oakley for the air ball. Here it is, getting it away, just beat the 24. Tony Kukoc has come on for the first time, replacing Dennis Rodman, who picked up a second foul. Rodman sits down with 6 rebounds. Harper continues to defend against Jordan. And the rebound taken by Oakley. Good save. Mason facing a double team. Now Kukoc checking Oakley. Bad pass by Oakley.
Good defensive sequence by both Kukoc and Pippen as Scottie battling hard. Mason inside as Dennis Rodman, who rests on the bench for Chicago.
And a foul. It's on Starks. His first. Steve Kerr